There are signs China might eliminate its strict 2 children for each family policy. The limit went into effect in 2016 following an easing of the country's notorious one-child policy. Joining me now by Skype from Miami to talk about this potential change in China's birth policy is Dr. Christie, policy advisor for the Catholic Association. Gracie, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Lauren. Nice to see you.
You too. You've written about this topic. This is very personal for you. Tell us about your youngest daughter's early days in China.
So my youngest daughter is a typical child adopted out of China. She was abandoned at the age of 3 days on a sidewalk, and her life was saved by pure chance, a real miracle that she's alive and that she's here at home with a family that adores her.
Isn't that wonderful? Look how cute she is there. Does this possible change in policy from 1 to 2 to now maybe many, would that end the enforcement of the number of children its citizens can have? And why? Why do it now?
So China has realized after decades of this malignant policy, which caused so much suffering to mothers and fathers, the deaths of so many children, especially girls, and so many girls and boys in orphanages. After all these decades, they've realized that it was a really bad idea because demographically, it doesn't make any sense to have only a few young people supporting millions and millions of people who can no longer work or are going into retirement age. So now they have the opposite problem, that they need young people to have children, and they're having trouble getting that jump started again.
Well, isn't it also the economy? It's not so much about elevating a culture of life. I think what they're seeing is that this is having real ramifications for how they run their country.
Yeah, no, this is not about being kind to women and men and moms and dads and children. This is really about, it's a simple economic question. How do we keep our workforce supplied with people? And they're finding that it was a really bad idea to eliminate many, many millions of girls just like that in such a cruel manner.
Right. China is predicted to have maybe 30 million more men than women, it looks like, by the end of the decade. Can that damage, do you think, ever really be repaired?
Well, that damage is a huge deal in so many ways, not just missing workers, but when men aren't married, they're single and they're not civilized by their wives. And that has all sorts of other ramifications. So it's a real cultural disaster for China.
The proportion of the population, really, as you were saying earlier, age 60 or older, increased to 17.3% of the total population. This social impact most likely is going to have significant problems for elder care.
Well, all over the world, we still hear a lot about population problems, that the population is exploding. But what's happening is really what's happening in China, that people have stopped having children, not to the extent as in China, where it was such a forced thing. But we have a bigger and bigger growing demographic of people who can no longer work and very few young people who can support them. So I think all societies across the world are going to be experiencing this to some extent in the next few decades.
Dr. Christie, policy advisor for the Catholic Association. Thanks for joining us. Nice to see you.
Thank you.